Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Good evening, brothers and sisters of distant faiths, and our brothers and sisters Muslims, our brothers and sisters who are Jews and Christians. We thank you for your efforts in viewing and sharing our video. Now, I bumped to a brother recently. He was so excited when he met me and he asked me, "Oh, I've come with an information. But the information I'm bringing it might be so hurting to you because it might hurt you a lot." And I said, "What's information?" He said, "Because the Quran contradicts itself." I said, "How?" He said, "In the Quran, there are verses Allah says that Prophet Muhammad is the first Muslim." I said, "Okay." And he said there are also verses that say Ibrahim before Prophet Muhammad is the first Muslim. So, okay. And also in the same Quran, it is also said Musa alayhi salam, Moses even before Prophet Muhammad and after Prophet Ibrahim is the first Muslim. Okay. He said Noah alayhi salam is also a first Muslim as the Quran mentioned. Look at contrast. Who is not the first Muslim amongst them? He will say Muhammad is the first Muslim, others are kuffar. He will say Prophet Ibrahim is the first Muslim, Noah is a kuffar, same believer. So it's a kafir. And now, who is the first Muslim? Why the Quran contradicts itself on this? And I said, where are the verses? He quoted some verses. Let's see some verses he quoted, brothers and sisters. The first of them is quoted in English. I will put them in Arabic for understanding and also translate it and also explain it as well. Let's look at the first verse he quoted was found in Surah Zumar, chapter 39 of the Holy Quran. It says, Allah commanded, said to Prophet Muhammad, he said, "Cool, say, inni umirtu." Inni umirtu, I've been commanded, and abud Allah, to worship Allah. And he continued, said, mukhlis al-din, or mukhlis al-din, to worship Allah with sincerity. And he continued, kul umirtu li'anna akunna awwal muslimin. I am commanded to be among the first, or be the first Muslim. That this is Muhammad. That is commanded to be the first Muslim. This is found in Surah Zumar. That was said. Now, if we look again to confirm what was said in Surah Zumar about Rasul become the first Muslim, we quoted Surah Al-An'am, which is chapter 6 of the Quran, verse 1 to 3. Allah says about him, there's no partner associated with him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ, Rasulullah said, وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ. With that I believe, وَعَنْ أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, I am first of those who submit to this. Then, this is where Rasulullah becomes the first Muslim. He said, where did Ibrahim become the first Muslim? He said it's found in Surah Al-Baqarah. Yeah, it's Surah Al-Baqarah. It's mentioned in verse Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 12 of the Quran, verse 131, about Ibrahim. When God said to him, "Qala lahu rabbuhu aslim," it's not to submit. "Qala aslamtu li rabbil alamin," I submit to what? The Lord of all heavens and earth. This is when Ibrahim became the first Muslim. Then he said, "Okay," I said, "I'm getting it." Then where did Musa say the first Muslim? He quoted from Surah Al-Araf, which is chapter 7 of the Quran, verse 143. What the verse says? فَلَمَّا جَاءَ مُوسَى لِمِيقَاتِنَا, Musa came down to a meeting, وَكَلَّمَهُ رَبُّهُ, and his Lord spoke to him. Then when the Lord spoke to him, he said, قَالَ أَرِنِّي, show me, أَنْظُرْ إِلَيْكَ, show me yourself so I can look at you. قال Allah said, لَن تَرَوْنِي, you will never see me. وَوَلَكِنْ أُنْظُرْ إِلَى الْجَبَلِ, look to the mountain. فَإِنْ اسْتَقَرَّ مَكَانَهُ, if you stay in this position, فَسَوْفَ تَرَوْنِي, you will see me. فَلَمَّا, they said, فَلَمَّا تَجَلَّى رَبُّهُ الْجَبَلَ, when the Lord sent his power upon the mountain, جَعَلَهُ دَكًّا, make it a dust. فَخَرَّ مُوسَى صَعِيقًا, Musa fell down, fainted. Then فَلَمَّا فَقَى, when he woke up from his fainting, then قَالَ سُبْحَانَكَ, glory be to you, Allah. تُبْتُ إِلَيْكَ, I turn to you. وَعَنَ أَوَّلُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Yeah, the verse here says وَعَنَ أَوَّلُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. With that, he said, he's the first of those who believe. Now, when asking, we heard about Noah alayhi salam. He said, Noah alayhi salam is found in Surah Yunus, verse 72, when he says, after Noah has built his ark, the ark for them to go in to be saved from the deluge, then he says, فَإِن تَوَلَيْتُمْ, if you disobey, فَمَا سَعَيْتُكُم مِّنْ أُخْرَى, I'm going to ask you again. He said, وَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, and those first one who submits. With that, he said, Nuh alayhi salam was the first Muslim. Another verse said Ibrahim is the first Muslim. Another verse he said Musa is the first believer. Another verse he said Muhammad. So then who is the first Muslim? And I looked at the brother and said, oh, sorry for that. I said, where did you get it from? He says from a Ghanaian. He quoted those verses to prove that Islam is wrong. I said, oh, with this verse mean Islam is wrong? He said, yes. I said, no problem. Let's look at the verse critically, understand it that it is understood from the context, having a contextual meaning, not a generic meaning. There's two meanings in the Quran. We have the meaning of the arm, the meaning of the khas. Now, in the meaning of the arm, that's okay, an hour limits, I'm the first generous. But when you look at what precedes it, determines the meaning of what was said subsequently.